Okay, so this wants us, given that angle 1 and 2 are equal to each other, so always write it in. Angle 1 and 2 are equal to each other. Prove that 3 is supplementary to 5. So they want us to prove that this one here and this one here add up to 180. That's what supplementary means. And they even gave us the statements. They just want us to write the reasons down. So, or actually they didn't give us this statement. They want us to write that one down. So we're going to write angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and that's given. It's the only thing they gave us. Now they want us to show that EB is parallel to FC. So EB is right here. EB is that line, and FC is that line. They want us to show that it's parallel, and that's the what are angles 1 and 2 called? You remember what those are called in relationship to each other? Can you see you've got a transversal right here? See that transversal?
It's not same side interior, right? It's not same side interior.
Yeah, so those are the things you have to kind of memorize. It's corresponding. Those are corresponding. So if, it depends, your teacher maybe says if corresponding then parallel. Is that the reason that they use? There's a list of reasons to use.
Yeah, we have a list, but she usually just writes corresponding angle.
If corresponding, then parallel. That's what most books say, or something like that. Or you can just write corresponding angles imply parallel lines, or something like that. Corresponding, actually here, maybe it's like this. If corresponding angles are congruent, then parallel lines, or something to that effect. Mm-hmm. So just look back at your notes and look at how your book teaches you, but all the books are sometimes say it in slightly different ways, but that's essentially what you're trying to do, give a reason behind it. And there's a bunch of theorems that you've used, that you've proven, and you can use those theorems, and you just kind of have to look for them and pull them out like a puzzle piece and stick it right in the spot. All right, and then it says angle 2 is supplementary to angle 3. Angle 2 is supplementary to angle 3. And that is because, do you remember what those two angles are called? Angle 2 and 3?
Same side interior?
That's called consecutive angles, I think, is what most books call them. Do you use the word consecutive angles?
I'll show you, I took a picture of yours.
So this one is, some books call them consecutive angles, some books call it the same side interior angles theorem. I'm going to write that. Same side interior angles theorem. That's what we have. Now, number 4 says that angle 2 is equal to angle 5. I look at angle 2 and 5, and what do you notice about those two angles? What kind of angles are they?
Vertical.
Good. Vertical angles, so we call it the vertical angles theorem, because there's a theorem that says the vertical angles, anytime you have vertical angles, they're congruent to each other. And then number 5, angle 3 is supplementary to angle 5. Well, this is called the substitution property, because I can substitute. See what I can do here? If 2 is supplementary to 3 and 2 is congruent to 5, then I could substitute 5 in for 2, and it will say 5 is supplementary to 3.
So supplement 5 and 2.
So this is called the substitution. I'm using substitution. I'm substituting these things that I said earlier. I'm basically substituting here where I say 2. Mm-hmm. I'm substituting the 5 in there because I just said that they're congruent.
I see.
So if 2 is supplementary to 3, then 5 is also supplementary to 3. Or 3 is supplementary to 5, because that means the same thing.